Well, I feel for our guys because there's another night that we just really battled and, couldn't get over the hump. I love our group. We're a little shorthanded again, but, it's we got 12 league games left, thank God.
What makes it so hard to get good offensive possession there late when you really need one?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to watch the tape. I don't know. I think you got to give Louisville's defense a lot of credit. They got great length. They're switching. They got big guys out on us. I love the look we got at the end of regulation. Matty got a pretty good look in that corner, and I thought he got a pretty good look up top at the end of the first overtime. Probably doesn't have the left or the legs that he usually is going to have, but that's about as good as it was going to get. We tried to go to Marty a little bit more in the post as well as he was playing, and that helped us. And maybe that's who we have to become moving forward with his offensive development, throwing it down in there and letting him go to work, like we used to do with Bonds. I think that's kind of how we're evolving.
How much has Jogo grown here?
Yeah, he's really has. God, he's been great. He really has. All those guys, I'm really proud of him. I mean, he keeps coming and making progress, and with DJ Harvey down probably for a while, he's going to play a lot of minutes.
What does he need to add to his game now?
Nick,
really
I think the defensive presence, and off the ball and guarding, just defensively, he's never really had the guard, but there's moments even in practice where Matt Farrell and TJ Gibbs can't score on him because he's so long. So we need him to get good fast because he's going to play a lot of basketball for us. But I definitely like where he's trending right now. I mean, I think how he's played against two good teams in big-time atmospheres, I'm really proud of him. He's come a long way from October.
29 minutes, too. So,
Yes.
I don't think he's ever played that.
No. We played 24 on Saturday, and I said to the staff, I bet Nick Jogo never thought he'd play 24 minutes in a North Carolina game. Well, we turned around and played 29 tonight. Crazy. But I think Johnny continues to do stuff for us. Torres gives us great energy in that. And again, we were all over the backboard again. That keeps us in games, getting those second shots, 26 offensive rebounds. I don't know if I've ever seen that. But that kept us in it, and that's kind of makes up for us not being able to make the first shot as much. We're not making the first shot as much when you don't have a Colson or probably a healthy Farrell out there. So we got to go get it, and we've been doing that, and it's given us a chance to win. We just haven't been able to get over the hump the last two.
Mike, what is the severity of Harvey?
We're hoping it's just cartilage. MRI tomorrow. I'm hoping it's just a cartilage thing, and maybe we rest it or scope him, and then he'd be back. Hopefully it's not an ACL, but he will have an MRI in the morning. You saw him, there was no one around him. He kind of grabbed it and took a dribble and just went down, and he was in a lot of pain. It hyperextended. It looked weird. So I hope it's cartilage only.
To see him go down when he seemed to be making some
Yeah,
strides.
yeah.
How frustrating.
Yeah, sure. When we carried him off, I'm thinking like, my God, the plot thickens. But it's kind of who we are this year. I mean, it's kind of, sometimes we have been very lucky on the injury front over time, and I think it's a cycle, and you go in and out of it. And so we're in one now, and you just try and manage it as best you can. But I don't think we're going to have him for a while. I'm just hoping we get him back February.
They're a team that has some good players, experienced players, but they couldn't do a lot this year themselves.
Yes.
They kind of growing up here over the last.
I give them a lot of credit, and I think David's done a fabulous job with them. I told him that before the game. He's done a great job. The one thing after all the turmoil, the one thing they have is really good players coming back. Like, they had experience of guys who've won together coming back, and I think they've really kind of, the old guys are kind of running that team, and they have been, is that 3 in a row for them? They have been playing really well. And again, they made all the big plays tonight. I'm really impressed with how Spalding has improved. He has made himself a heck of a player. And then Snyder's just one of those senior point guards who just makes all the right plays at the right time.
How much did you miss Rex down the stretch?
Yeah, that was too bad. That he's usually pretty smart about fouls, and that was a big loss. In the overtime, we're right now we can't, and I think we're first in least amount of fouls. We don't foul a whole lot, so we haven't had a lot of guys foul out, but we just can't afford to have a main guy even get in foul trouble, quite frankly. That's why we played a lot of zone. Zone was good to us. I thought it gave us some good stuff. We went man. I want to say at the end of the first overtime, and we really were good in our man-to-man, and that gave us a chance to have the ball to take the game winner. They kind of got to us. We went a little zone. They hit a big three, a three in a corner in the second overtime. That's a hard one to dig out of. We dug out of a hole in the first overtime. It was a little too hard to dig out of it in the second overtime.
Mike, have you ever had a guy that had 11 offensive rebounds?
I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's playing so well, and I'm just so proud of him. He deserves it. He's such a confident guy right now. And again, as I'm trying to figure out how to help this group, I think we got to throw it into him more and go to work. Take a jump hook, because if you get fouled, it's just about automatic from the foul line. He's a pretty good decision maker, kicking it out. He had a couple turnovers tonight, but overall he's been a really good passer. But he's just been he's as good as any big guy in the league right now. Thank God we have him. He's given us a chance.
I know you have your seniors to kind of pull everything together, but how do you keep them saying, this is going to eventually swing the other direction?
Yeah, I told him, I said, if I know our seniors like I think I know them, we'll keep plugging here. And I used an example. I said, fellas, last year we lost 5 out of 6 in the ACC. And we found our footing, and we had a good start. We had a 5-0 start. 5 out of 6. We found our footing a little bit and scratched and clawed to the end. Now, I'm not sure if we can scratch and claw to 12 league wins in a double bye. Quite frankly, I don't know if that's very realistic. But can we scratch out 5 or 6 more and then go to Brooklyn and see what happens? And Colson's maybe back? That's the world we're in, and that's how we're going to manage it. But until then, we'll see if we can regroup. We need a lot of rest, and never did I think Matt Farrell would play 48 minutes, tonight. So he is going to be. He can't do anything till Friday, but we'll. I've talked to him very honestly about where we are and what we would need to be considered for the NCAA tournament and all those things. I don't. The older guys know it, but we've been punched hard before. These were 2 amazing gut punches. I just feel for them, but I think we're pretty darn resilient. I really have a lot of faith in the seniors.
You said the emotion was anger after the UNC.
Yeah.
Is the emotion now disappointment?
I think we were thoroughly exhausted. I think it was thorough exhaustion in there. And, we need 48 hours just to get our energy back and see if we can steal one on the road. Clemson's obviously playing really well. We need to get to bye week. I'd love to get to bye week. And I said Sunday after a tough Saturday, I thought to myself, if we could get to bye week 4 and 3, I would have a party. And that would be as good as it gets. But we need to get there and shut it down and get some guys some rest, get Maddie closer to 100% by the time we take the floor against Virginia Tech, and then see what we got in us down the stretch.
Maddie jumped out, I think, for 15 points in the first half. And then it seemed like in the second half they were switching mood on him at times, and that seemed like it caused you guys to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, the size really bothered him. And you know what, in all honesty, fatigue got to him. And, it's not like we can take him out and rest him. I was asking him at every timeout. But he was really tired. He hadn't played heavy minutes in a while. And we tried to get him off the ball some and let TJ handle it some. But, again, their overall length, really, we turned it over 18 times. That's kind of hard to absorb, and I think their length really bothered us. And it always has. When they have beaten us, they've gotten many deflections, and we've had a hard time getting looks. And, you couldn't get anything around a bucket with their length. We took 38 threes. it's about the only place we could really score it, shoot over the top of it. But they made some big plays at key times. Snyder and Spalding were men. They were men. Thanks.